Stepsons, today I'm going to show you how to start some seeds growing and also how to transplant them once they start growing. You don't do this for every seed, but we're going to do this for one of my favorites, and that's pole beans. All right. My daughter Hannah showed me this. She is much more of a plant person than I am, but you take some paper towel in a glass, get the paper towel a little bit wet, put it around the outside of the glass. So you put that around the outside, and then you take some of the seeds and place them between the paper towel and the glass. You want them to end up about midway down. What this is going to do is test your seeds for you, because not all seeds are viable or will take off and grow. Most of them, if they're healthy and fresh, will, but it helps you identify those that won't before you plant them in the dirt for plants that you can do this with. In there, it's not the most even, but once you've got them in there, I'll put some water in there, and then the paper towel sucks the water up beyond the level of the beans. It's kind of like the beans just got planted in the dirt, with the paper towel being the dirt. And as they get moist, they will start to grow, but that will take a little time. So these are some that were started about 3 weeks ago. And the reason I'm putting more in is because not enough of them grew for me to fill my garden. But you can see in here as I go around the outside how they start. The roots come out. It's actually quite a neat process. You can watch them grow. The heads will bend and go up, and the roots go down into the water in the bottom. So after they've started growing, and even before they start growing up, it dries out. Like this is some we started, there's no water in the bottom. You would add water to it and keep it just a quarter to a third full of water in there, so that the paper towel can suck the water up and keep the seeds moist. In this case, these are older seeds. None of them sprouted because these have been in for a couple of weeks and none of them show a sign of life. What that means is it saved me from planting these and not having anything grow. As I do these, you got to keep putting water in to make sure that you keep the plant alive until you get it in the dirt. So for each of these that we've started, we add water periodically as it goes out of the bottom to keep them going. All right, stepson, so now we've got the starts that are going here, and we're going to plant these in here, and I'll show you that in a minute. But before we do, I want to show you these up here. These were peas. Peas we started very similarly, not quite the same. And the peas, we just put them all in a bag with paper towel on the bottom and moistened it and just sat them flat. They weren't in a glass on the side, but we started those that started, I brought out here as they sprouted and put in the dirt. And you can see as you go down the rows, in fact, we had so many that started, I put 2 in some holes. So like there's 2 popping up in one. But you can see how they're coming out. You may not get excited about this, but this is really rewarding. When you can go out and harvest vegetables or fruit or whatever you've planted to take in and fix for dinner on that night, that's a really rewarding thing. All right, let me show you now. Here's what we're going to do for putting these in. You don't have to wear gloves. I'll put them on just for fun, but you can just wash your hands after and wash the dirt off. That's okay too. And you have to look on this packet. The seed packet will tell you the information about how far to plant them apart. Now this doesn't say start them in a glass first. So this is plant them in. Some of them won't survive, and then you thin them to a certain distance after. I'm going to go ahead and just plant them at the distance, row spacing 3 to 6 inches, and planting depth 1 to 1.5 inches. And it says days to germination, 7 to 10 days. We've already germinated these, that's why they're doing it in here. So I'm just going to put some plants in here. I'll show you this in a separate episode, but we're going to put these in here. These need a trellis to climb. These are pole beans, so they want to grow up something. So I'll screw a trellis onto this because these are going to need something to climb on. But right now we're going to get them in the dirt, and I'm going to put them about 3 to 6 inches per spacing. So, and I'm going to do 2 rows on this side of our box here, about like this. And I'll probably put one here too. I like string beans. And so if we have a good year, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 12. And I'll probably need a little bit more space because I've got the root structure in the bottom that I got to get in here. All right, well, let's just try some. So when I take these out, I'll just take this out of the glass, unwrap it, and then you can see what we've got. For those that aren't ready, I'll put back in. But here's the first one, roots going. This will need a little bit more space. And if it was just the seed, I'd be going down 1 inch to 1.5 inches. It's already growing, so I'm going to be closer to that 1.5 inches, but it should be in a good start. And just put that in like that, pack it down a little bit so it's there. When you transplant things like this, it's not uncommon for them to get shocked, meaning they could stop growing, they might wilt a little bit, and then hopefully they'll come back. This is new soil, it's pretty good soil. If you keep it moist and give fertilizer, if that's appropriate, then they should hopefully just take right off again. And this one, see, this one's gone through too, so I'm just gently pulling that out of the paper towel where it's gone through a layer, and then we'll put it in here. And I am looking forward to harvesting these beans. So I'm trying to keep just 3 inches apart from each plant, and my philosophy is the more I get, the better. Here's one that you can see. It's got the root that's going off. It's got some new ones. It's not out of the bean. That's how it will start, is it breaks out of the shell, and a lot of times you'll see the plant carry the shell with it, like this one is doing. There's the residue of the shell that's on that one still. I'll probably go ahead and put these in because they're started, but I'm going to do all the tall ones that are up and out first, and then we'll come back to those that have sprouted that haven't gone upwards a whole lot yet. You'll notice in this one, plants need water. Well, one of the things you're going to have to do if you plant your own garden is water it by hand if that's all you've got. In our case, we put in a sprinkler system, and this gets watered every day a little bit, and that helps keep the plants growing because they got to have water. See there, I busted a root off that went through the paper and is grabbing on, so it's busted a couple of others off, but there's still a lot. In this case, the paper towel acts like the soil. Now we're actually giving it real soil because there's no nutrients in paper towels. All right, those are all the tall ones. I'm going to go ahead and start some of these others that are out of the shell. I'm going to put some of those in. I've got some on this row over here and a couple on this, and we'll see how they do. And the other ones that we started today, if they take off and these don't, then we'll just replace those with these. Like this one that was all curled up. It's not standing up, but it was out of its shell, had roots. This one is coming out of its shell. I don't know how it'll do, but I'm going to go ahead and plant it, and we'll see if it gets above dirt. I'm not going to pack that too much because I'm going to put it all the way under. So it's got to push its way up. So one of the last things you want to do after you've put them in is give them just a little bit of water around the base of where they're at. I'll go get a watering can and do that more. I'm going to fish these last ones. So these two are starting too. You can see the root structure there. I don't know where I have some and when I don't now since they're not sticking out, but I can probably put another one over here. So I'll give this one a shot here, and we'll see if it can work its way above. And this one also has just a little bit starting to come out. I might be getting them too close, but we'll keep them, see how they do, and hopefully have a good harvest. So as you plant these new ones, you're going to want to put a little bit of water around the base. It's kind of careful when you do it. If you put too much, you're going to wash the soil away that supports it. So you got to just put a little bit when you put it on. And I did that on some of these already, and you can see how the soil sinks down in because it's being washed. All right, so stepsons, if you haven't done a vegetable garden or planted seeds, try this with some seeds of your own. If you don't have a place where you can go plant a vegetable garden, see if there's one you can find. Sometimes neighborhoods have them where you can go talk to your city and get an area that's allowed for residents of the city to garden in those plots. And if you want to do that, you can do that. If you want to just do this, then get a flower plant, seeds for flowers. Put them in a pot, and you can keep those indoors, outdoors. A lot of them are good for outdoors. I like to have some outdoor flowers in pots around our patio as well. Always remember 2 messages from every video. You can succeed even though your dad may not be in your daily life. And always remember your stepdad loves you. I'll see you on the next video. Citizens or citizens, that's the wrong word, for residents of the city.